Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, as we embark on a fascinating journey through the annals of time, exploring one of the most pivotal events in ancient history, the Siege of Tyre. Today, we delve into the origins and earliest history of this epic confrontation, tracing the threads of power, politics, and culture that ultimately led to the fateful clash between the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the defenders of Tyre. As we set the stage for our narrative, let us transport ourselves to the eastern shores of the Mediterranean, where the city of Tyre stood as a beacon of prosperity and cultural achievement. Located on a small island off the coast of modern-day Lebanon, Tyre was a major hub of trade and commerce, its strategic position allowing it to control the flow of goods between the east and the west. The city's impressive fortifications, including the famous walls that would later play a crucial role in the siege, were a testament to its wealth and power. Our journey begins in the 10th century BCE, when Tyre was a thriving city-state, ruled by King Hiram I, who reigned from 980 to 947 BCE. During his reign, Hiram established trade relationships with the Israelites, and his ships sailed to the port of Joppa, where they would acquire goods such as grain, wine, and olive oil. This period marked the beginning of Tyre's rise to prominence, as it became a major center of commerce and industry in the ancient world. As we explore the historical context of Tyre's emergence, we find that the city was also an important cultural center with a rich tradition of art, literature, and architecture. The Phoenicians, who inhabited Tyre, were known for their impressive temples, such as the Temple of Melkart, which stood at the heart of the city. This magnificent structure, dedicated to the patron deity of Tyre, was adorned with intricate carvings, statues, and other works of art that reflected the city's wealth and sophistication. The prophet Ezekiel, who wrote about the city's wealth and power in his prophecies, provides us with a glimpse into the daily life of Tyre. According to Ezekiel, Tyre was a city of unparalleled prosperity, with merchants from all over the ancient world coming to trade in its markets. The prophet's words paint a vivid picture of a bustling metropolis, where people from different cultures and backgrounds would gather to exchange goods and ideas. As we continue our journey through the origins of the Siege of Tyre, we encounter other key figures who played a significant role in shaping the city's history. One such figure is King Itobal I, who ruled Tyre from 880 to 852 BCE. During his reign, Itobal expanded Tyre's trade relationships, establishing connections with the Assyrian Empire, which would later become a major player in the events leading up to the siege. The city's strategic importance, its cultural achievements, and its fragile balances of power all contributed to the perfect storm that would eventually lead to the epic confrontation between the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the defenders of Tyre. As we explore the historical context of the siege, we find that the fate of Tyre was inextricably linked to the rise and fall of the great powers of the ancient world. The Assyrian Empire, which had once dominated the region, began to decline in the 7th century BCE, creating a power vacuum that would be filled by the Neo-Babylonian Empire. The stage is set for the main act of our drama, as the great powers of the ancient world clash in a struggle that would shape the course of human history. Join me next as we explore the pivotal events that led to the siege and uncover the secrets of this fascinating chapter in the annals of time, as the city of Tyre stands at the crossroads of destiny, ready to face the challenges that will determine its future. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the annals of time, exploring one of the most pivotal events in ancient history, the Siege of Tyre. Today, we delve into the heart of the conflict, tracing the threads of power, politics, and culture that ultimately led to the fateful clash between Alexander the Great and the defenders of Tyre. As we set the stage for our narrative, let us transport ourselves to the 4th century BCE, when the city of Tyre was a major hub of trade and commerce in the eastern Mediterranean. The city's strategic position, located on a small island off the coast of modern-day Lebanon, allowed it to control the flow of goods between the east and the west. Alexander's conquests had been spreading rapidly, and his sights were set on Tyre, a crucial prize in his campaign to conquer the Persian Empire. The siege began in 332 BCE, when Alexander, determined to capture the city, ordered his engineers to build a causeway from the mainland to the island. This monumental task required the labor of thousands of workers, who toiled tirelessly to construct a half-mile-long mole using rocks and debris from the surrounding area. As the causeway neared completion, Alexander's army began to assemble on the mainland, preparing for the final assault. The defenders of Tyre, led by King Azamilchus, were well aware of the impending attack and had been preparing their defenses. The city's impressive fortifications, including the famous walls that had withstood countless sieges, were reinforced with additional troops and supplies. The Tyrians also possessed a powerful fleet, which they used to launch surprise attacks on Alexander's ships, attempting to disrupt his supply lines and weaken his position. Despite these challenges, Alexander remained resolute in his determination to capture Tyre. He ordered his engineers to construct a series of towers and catapults, which were used to breach the city's defenses. The siege engines, designed by the famous engineer Herodotus, were massive constructions that could hurl heavy projectiles at the city walls, causing significant damage and weakening the defenders' resolve. As the siege wore on, Alexander's army began to make gains, slowly but surely breaching the city's defenses. The Tyrians, however, refused to surrender, and the fighting was fierce and intense. According to the ancient historian Arrian, the defenders of Tyre employed a variety of tactics to repel the attackers, including pouring hot oil on the siege engines and launching sorties against Alexander's troops. The turning point in the siege came when Alexander's engineers successfully breached the city's walls, creating a gap that allowed his troops to pour inside. The Tyrians, realizing their situation was hopeless, retreated to the temple of Melkart, where they made a final stand. After a fierce battle, the temple was captured, and the city fell to Alexander's army. The fall of Tyre marked a significant turning point in Alexander's campaign, as it gave him control over the eastern Mediterranean and paved the way for his conquest of Egypt and the rest of the Persian Empire. The city's capture also had a profound impact on the ancient world, as it led to the spread of Greek culture and language throughout the region. The city of Tyre, once a major hub of trade and commerce, had been transformed into a key outpost of the Greek Empire, its culture and language forever changed by the conquest. Join me next as we explore the aftermath of the siege and the long-term consequences of Alexander's conquests on the ancient world. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the annals of time, exploring the aftermath of one of the most pivotal events in ancient history, the Siege of Tyre. Today, we delve into the long-term consequences of Alexander's conquests on the city and the ancient world. As the dust settled after the siege, Alexander's empire began to take shape. The city of Tyre, once a major hub of trade and commerce, was transformed into a key outpost of the Greek Empire. The city's culture and language were forever changed by the conquest, as Greek became the dominant language, and Hellenistic culture spread throughout the region. The fall of Tyre also had significant economic implications. The city's famous purple dye industry, which had been a major driver of its economy, was taken over by the Greeks. Alexander's conquests also led to an increase in trade between East and West, with Tyre serving as a key hub for the exchange of goods such as spices, textiles, and metals. As the centuries passed, Tyre continued to thrive under Greek rule. The city became an important center of learning and culture, with scholars and philosophers from across the ancient world flocking to its famous library and schools. The city's strategic location also made it a key military outpost, with the Greeks using it as a base for their campaigns against the Persians and other enemies. Despite its newfound prosperity, Tyre was not immune to the challenges faced by the Greek Empire. As Alexander's successors vied for power, the city found itself at the center of a series of bloody conflicts. The Ptolemaic kingdom, which ruled over Egypt and much of the eastern Mediterranean, clashed with the Seleucid Empire, which controlled much of Mesopotamia and the Levant. One notable example of these conflicts was the Siege of Tyre by Antigonus I Monophthimus, one of Alexander's most powerful generals. In 3015 BCE, Antigonus laid siege to the city, using his massive army and advanced siege engines to try and breach its defenses. The Tyrians, however, were able to hold out against the attack, thanks in part to their skillful use of naval warfare. As the Hellenistic period drew to a close, Tyre continued to play an important role in the ancient world. The city was a key center of trade and commerce, with merchants from across the Mediterranean coming to buy and sell goods. The city's famous Temple of Melkart, which had been damaged during Alexander's siege, was rebuilt and became a major pilgrimage site for worshippers from across the ancient world. In the words of the ancient historian Plutarch, Tyre was a city of great wealth and prosperity, with a harbor that was always filled with ships and a marketplace that was always bustling with activity. The city's legacy as a center of trade, culture, and learning continued to shape the ancient world, even as the Roman Empire rose to dominance. The city of Tyre, once a major hub of trade and commerce, had been transformed forever by Alexander's conquests, its culture and language forever changed by the spread of Greek culture. Join me next as we explore the Roman period and the continued evolution of this fascinating city. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.